Good morning, everyone. This is the Cigar Show,
Morning.
episode 13.75 or something like that. Actually, it's episode 14. We'll tell you about what happened to last week's episode here in a minute, but I am Randy Rankin, and with me is the very mature-looking, yet
you.
still gorgeous Faith Cox.
Thank
Look at her hair up. Doesn't she look much more mature today, doesn't she?
Very metropolitan.
Yes.
I like that.
Yeah.
Thank you, guys.
You need a cosmopolitan to help
I
you look
do.
even more
I
metropolitan.
do. Is it too early for that?
Probably. And to my left is the somewhat great,
The great big
Tony Gomez.
big Tony Gomez. So I'm working on it, pal. I'm working on it. I'm watching
You'll
cards.
get right a minute. That sounds like last week's episode. Anyway, and behind the camera is Jerry Morris, because believe me, that's where you want Jerry, is behind the camera. Did you get that, Jerry? You can talk. We'll let you talk. No, he doesn't want to talk today. Anyway, so we're going to do a quick recap of what you might have seen and what you might have missed last week. We started off the show throwing Faith under the bus, talking about her beauty queen days.
Oh, God.
And actually, we didn't really throw you under the bus. We were very happy for you.
Yeah, thank you, guys.
And I saw that your YouTube video has gone up by 9 views.
Woo! So 9 of you actually went and saw that.
That's
Thank
right.
you.
But speaking of views, once again, before we get back to last week's episode, thank you so much for getting up there.
Yeah.
We're about to have our 4th video go over 400 views. We got one that's closing in on 700 views.
Yay!
So really cool. We appreciate it, guys. We're getting more subscribers. We need more subscribers, more likes, more comments, and we would really appreciate it.
Yeah.
So we'll get to the recap again, but we are at the Calypso Cigar Shop and Lounge in Richardson, Texas. Tomorrow night, March 8th, from 4:30 to 7, I'm hosting an event here at the store for La Hoja cigars. So please come and see us. They're good sticks. Tony's smoking one now. We'll get his opinion on it here in a minute. And Faith has had it. Jerry's had it.
Very good.
They're very good sticks. So if you get a chance, come on out. Tony's going to be in Fort Worth at an event.
I'm at the Underground Cigar Lounge. Tomorrow is the beginning of their yearly event, the Underground Roast, their yearly roast that it's pretty much the biggest event of the year for that. I think probably one of the biggest events in Texas each year.
Other than
yeah.
my event tomorrow.
Exactly, but we've got people coming in from all over the country. But it's going to be great. If you're in the Fort Worth area tomorrow, I'm sure all the cigar people around the area know about it, but it's going to be great. It goes Friday, Saturday, and they even have a brunch on Sunday mornings for the people that are heading out of town, but and anybody else who wants to show up and smoke cigars.
Okay.
But yeah, come on out. It's going to be great, man.
So if you're in the Dallas area, come to see me. If you're in the Fort Worth area, go see Tony. And we should all have a good time.
And I just want to say, so far, this thing is smoking really well. I've smoked a couple of other of the La Hoja brand that Randy's given me, and great cigars. So, buddy, I wish you well tomorrow night. I think you're going to do well, and I think this brand is going to do well for you.
I think so as well. So good deal. Good deal. All right, so last week we talked about Faith winning the Beauty Queen contest, and
Yeah, and then we had a little bit of a mishap. The camera stopped recording. And you didn't know. It was a great show. I'm sorry you guys missed out. But we definitely missed a little bit of it there.
that was the only show where at the end of the show, all three of us looked at each other and said, "No, that was a good show."
Yeah.
And if you've watched any of the other episodes, it's rare that ever happens. But it happens. And it was no one's fault. No, I'm joking. It was no one's fault. No one's fault.
Yeah.
Stuff happens. Technology is wonderful, you know.
So.
It can do great things. It can do stupid things.
It's
but,
what happens in the world of big television, man.
That's right.
That's just it, you know.
Yeah.
Lauren
Yeah.
Michaels and I, we talked about it, and I told him, Lauren, what do you do in something like this? And Lauren said, Big Tony, just get over it, man. So
I agree.
So there it is.
Yeah.
So what is it that they missed last week?
So they missed, it was episode 13, so we talked about superstitions.
Oh, man.
That was fun.
It was fun.
We talked about bugs and beetles. Beetles.
Inside joke.
Inside joke.
I
Faith on the
may-
whiteboard wrote beetles instead of
I may
beetles.
have misspelled. Don't worry, I'm in college. I'm learning.
Yeah, she'll get
I'm
there.
still
eventually.
learning. I will figure
And
out how to-
we talked about how to remedy the situation. Hopefully we'll get back and we'll retouch that page here in the near future. But it's just too depressing to bring it up again today because we just did that conversation. So anyway, but thank you for sticking with us. This one will be a regular full episode, and hopefully we'll be able to duplicate at least some of the magic that we lost last week. Okay, so for our non-cigar topic today, I came up with one, and everyone's done a show like this, whether it's an entertainment show or a cigar show. But guilty pleasures in life, whether it's music, food, things that you're not supposed to admit to liking, but that you actually really do like. I'm sure that's what a lot of people know what a guilty pleasure is, but just in case, that's my definition of it.
Mhm.
So Faith, do you have any guilty pleasures
Oh boy.
that you can share with
So one of the ones that comes off the top of my head is I really like Nickelback. It's one of my favorite artists.
Jerry, can you cut that part out of the show? Okay.
But I do like a good bit of their songs. After a while, they do start to sound all the same.
Right.
But they do have a few gems in there, in my opinion.
Okay.
So Nickelback is definitely one.
Okay.
And extremely expensive coffee is another one. Like
Okay.
Starbucks, I get the most expensive drink on the menu.
What is that? What is the most expensive drink?
Caramel macchiato is like, and I get like a venti iced caramel macchiato.
Oh, okay.
It's like giant,
20
and it
ounce,
has
yeah.
tons of caffeine.
Mm.
It's a little unhealthy. I get really jittery, and I love it. And it's like $7
For a cup of coffee.
for a giant cup of coffee. And I only splurge on that every now and then because I used to do that like every day.
Wow.
Yeah. And I
So-
really had to cut down on my expenses.
You used to be wealthy, apparently.
Apparently. Wonder where it all went. Coffee. That's
Coffee,
where it went. I
exactly.
spent it on coffee.
Okay, so Nickelback and expensive coffee.
Yes, I
Okay.
do love expensive coffee, which really messes me up when I have to settle for cheap coffee.
Okay, a favorite Nickelback song.
Oh boy. My all-time favorite is gonna be Far Away.
Okay.
It
All
gets me, it hits right in my feelings every time.
Every time. Okay.
Every time.
Now, what I figured we'd do is we'll mention our guilty pleasures, and then everyone else can chime in on it. Okay.
Alright.
I don't like Nickelback now. I liked their first album or two.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
thought there were some good songs on that. It was a newer sound at the time.
Yeah.
Now everything sounds the same. Far Away actually is a good song. I have to admit that one. Most guys will kick me in the nuts for that one, but it's a good song.
Oh.
Because it's, well, you're not a guy. So I
But I'll still kick you. But
yeah,
I'm
well, I
not
know
going-
you'll kick me. You've kicked
But
me a
I'm not
bunch.
going to. I agree
well,
with
thank
you.
you. Far Away's a good song. I like that How You Remind Me song. I think
Yeah,
that's good.
it's a
The
good
one
song.
the lead singer does with Santana is a good song.
Yeah.
You know which one that is?
Nope.
Okay. Well, we'll play it for you later. What do you think of Nickelback and an expensive coffee? I don't care about. I mean, I don't fault you for it, but I don't do that either. So I'm kind of neutral on that one. Tony?
Yeah, I'm into both of those guilty pleasures as well. My guilty pleasure of Nickelback is I like the Santana song also. I can't think of the name of it currently, but I like Rockstar, of course, because I think it's a neat song.
Yeah.
And I like that he has Billy Gibbons with ZZ Top in on it.
Yeah.
And the expensive coffee, I go to a place in Frisco called Woodfire Coffee.
I've been there. Yeah.
And yeah, that's I get a bag of this, like this real dark roast that they have. I can't think of the name of it. I always have to have them look it up for me, but Yeah, it's like pretty expensive for a bag of coffee.
Okay.
That's so. Yeah, I can relate to those two.
Okay, cool. Back to coffee. I do like La Madeleine's coffee.
Oh, yeah.
They've got really good coffee. But for the most part, coffee still tastes like coffee to me. But sometimes I will get a good one that I go, oh, okay, now I see why people get excited about a good coffee. But it's rare when that happens.
Yeah.
Okay, so I probably am guilty of having the most guilty pleasures on the planet because I just figure life's short and I'm not going to let someone tell me who I'm supposed to like and what I'm not supposed to like. You know what I'm saying?
Well, you know, Randy, it's 2019, and we're not going to judge you for your specific tastes, whatever they may be.
You know, I could call that other girl that I was going to get.
It's legal now, Randy.
It's legal. Oh, in 2019? I gotcha. Okay, so anyway, I just figured good is good, and I don't like to pigeonhole myself into any kind of category. So like music is a big one. I love music, and I like acts that people go, oh my God, to oh hell yeah, you know. So I like I like Neil Diamond. I don't mind admitting I like Neil Diamond. I like Barry Manilow. I don't mind liking Barry Manilow. I don't mind liking Metallica. You know what I'm saying? You know, I mean, if it's good, it's good. I don't really care. I don't want to be pigeonholed.
Yeah.
Now, do I only listen to Neil Diamond and Barry Manilow? No. Do I only listen to Metallica and Elvis? No. I listen to it all. But I just, you know, those are my guilty pleasures, mostly musical. When it comes to food, pasta. I just love pasta. I don't eat it that often because I love it so much. I have to
Limit yourself.
yeah, I have to make it stay special when I do have it, you know. Exactly. So anyway, so go ahead, kick me in the balls for those.
I have no qualms with those whatsoever. I relate to those 110%.
Okay.
Because my music taste goes from one spectrum or one end of the spectrum to the other. You know, I can relate to those. Like I said, my music collection goes from everywhere from the Ramones to Patsy Cline to John Lee Hooker to Hank Williams to the Dead Kennedys to, I mean, all over the place.
Okay.
In excess, this current new stuff, and I'll get into more of that when it comes to my
Okay.
turn. So yeah.
All right. Cool. So do you have anything to say about my guilty pleasures?
I definitely.
You've never heard of any of those bands? Well,
Oh,
Elvis,
Randy.
I'm sure you've heard of Elvis.
I've heard of Elvis, and also I'm not against you listening to whatever music you want to. I still think that Barry Manilow looks like a mouse.
Yeah, she does. She thinks he looks like a mouse.
I mean,
But
I've never
I
heard
don't
of
like him because he looks like a mouse. I like his music.
I'm sure he sounds great. I've actually never heard Barry Manilow.
He's a
before.
mouse with royalties till the end of the world.
Yeah.
honey.
True.
Jeez.
Yeah.
True. That's a mouse face I could be used to.
He's
you know?
crying all the way to the mouse bag. He's doing it.
That mouse got a lot of cheese, I'll tell you that.
You've
yeah.
heard some Manilow songs, you just don't know it.
I guess so. That might be true. I listen to a lot of weird music as well. Music is definitely one of my guilty pleasures. I have wide range of taste all across the board, except country. I don't like country.
Not at all?
I burnt myself out on country in high
Okay.
school.
Well, you lived out in the
I lived out in the
country.
boonies. I
Yeah.
was Miss Country Girl wearing cowboy boots and everything. Yeah. I really like weird music. Like
Okay.
music and bands that nobody's heard of. I'm
Yeah.
sure nobody has heard of any of these. And I just find them randomly.
Lady Gaga. I've never heard of
No.
her.
There's a weird band. Well, I think they're weird because they have a very unique sound. It's called Cigarettes After Sex is the name of the band.
Yeah, Apocalypse.
Yeah.
I love that song. Yeah.
I love them. They are really good. They're interesting sound. I have another one called Hotels. I know
Okay, I've
nobody's
heard of it.
heard of that,
I've heard
but
of it.
yeah, because I sent you the link to it. You
Well,
had no
but
idea.
I
what
didn't
it
say
was.
where I heard from them. I just said I've heard of them.
But yeah, so I get that. You know, everybody has like their weird music that they listen to in private and never talk about.
Yeah. But see, I'll embrace it and I'll talk about
Oh,
it.
I will too.
Yeah, I don't care. You know, I mean, everyone up here at the store knows that I like Neil Diamond. I don't care. Okay, I'm scared. We're gonna find out Tony's guilty pleasures.
Oh boy,
That
here we
could be
go.
scary, Tony.
Well, since we're talking about music, that's my guilty pleasures.
Are you moving around in your chair? Or
Yes, I'm moving
beads
around,
last night?
Randy.
I guess when it comes to my guilty pleasure of food, I've always been a lover of pizza, man. That's my food thing. You know, anytime I've been on a diet and had success, pizza's been the one temptation that will always get me. So you know that's always been there. But my guilty pleasure on music, because I think we're kind of staying around there.
Well, that tends to be the one that gets brought up.
I think, and like you, the genres of the pretty much the Neil Diamond and the Barry Manilow and the Elton John genre, that was like big in the 70s. And you know, I was a young kid in the 70s, and all that was on the radio. Like so that got played a lot. You heard that everywhere you went. So, and it was on TV a lot. They made a lot of TV appearances. So that got brought up a lot. You know, back in the 70s, there were a lot of talk shows and variety shows, and so they were always on there. You know, stuff like that. You saw them on TV in those capacities. So that was where we were exposed to that. There wasn't MTV. There wasn't any, apps or anything. We didn't have, cell phones or anything or cable or anything. So that's how we got
dark
it.
ages,
Yeah, right. So, but I guess my guilty pleasure here of late, and I'm going to go ahead and admit it, and I know this is going to sound a little, this is going to even go a little R-rated here for a minute. I love listening to the more kind of explicit R&B kind of stuff now, and like Jacquees and like Ro James and Tank and stuff like that. And it's not really the lyrics that really draw me to the music. It's the beat, it's the rhythm, it's the flow. They have good melodies, they have good rhythms, and the lyrics, yes, are explicit, and they do get quite descriptive, and they don't hold back with describing what's going on. And a lot of it is, it's very carnal in nature and everything. But I mean, it's just good music. I mean, if they would just change the lyrics and stuff like that, I'd still listen to it. Yeah. But I love the flow of the music.
So that's your current thing.
Yeah, right? That's like, I like listening to it, and it's like kind of like, man, if they could just, I could like actually turn this music up a little louder at stoplights, right. And I wouldn't have to turn it down because I don't want people hearing certain things coming out of my car. So, but that's one thing I don't really get with a lot of this younger stuff that's over the top explicit, when they're like screaming it and shouting it. If it's the smoother stuff that kind of, you can tell these guys took their inspiration from stuff like the Isley Brothers and, bands like that, Earth, Wind and Fire. You can tell the influence that the old 70s R&B had on these current guys. So that would be my music, my latest kind of guilty pleasure music now currently, so. But with music, my guilty pleasure also in general is everything under the sun, man, from bluegrass to, jam bands to, Randy and Jerry and I were talking about bands like Los Lobos and Government Mule and I'm sure he likes, what's that band, Blackberry Creek or, that's another good jam band, that doesn't get a lot of hype. People that are into jam bands know them. But,
you like Widespread Panic?
Oh, yeah, Widespread. And they're famous all over the world, but you'll never hear anything about them on, you'll never hear about anything about them on radio, So, that's, music is definitely a big part of my life. So, and that's definitely a guilty pleasure.
Okay.
So, yeah.
I don't have much to combat you on that one, so I'm just going to say I agree with you.
Yeah, and you were more brave than I was because not to just copy you, but I absolutely love the same kind of music.
Yeah. So.
But I have problems finding it every now and then. So, but I really do enjoy that kind of music as well.
And and how I've found it, you kind of when you go to the apps and I'm on Napster, and I'll just go to like similar artists.
Okay.
And I'll just start, going and going. And some nights I'll sit up with my earbuds and just listen and listen.
Napster's still around?
Napster is still strong,
but
bud. No, man, it's still there. I'm not a Spotify guy. I'm not a iHeart Music guy.
I used to be big into Napster years ago. I thought they went away.
I'm still Napster. I was Rhapsody, and then Rhapsody got bought by Napster. So,
Yeah, I have Napster.
Yeah. Okay. I'm gonna.
I think it's
get
like
Napster
$8 a
again. I thought it
month.
was gone. I thought it was like.
I don't know. They hit my bank account each month, buddy. So.
Okay.
Oh yeah, that's what I spend my money on. Is coffee and music. I never cut costs when it comes to music.
I stay up so I can listen to music, so I can work longer, so I can make more money, so I can stay up, listen, and work music. Oh, you know how that thing. So I can so I can make more money, so I can
eat pizza.
So I can eat pizza. Yeah.
Okay.
Yep, love it.
All right. Well, cool. So I thought that'd be a fun segment.
Yeah.
So hopefully you guys did too. Tell us some of your guilty pleasures.
Yeah, let us know
as
in the
well.
comments, guys.
And we won't make fun of any of you. Well, maybe. But that's it. That's what it's all about.
Yeah.
Okay, so to the cigar page. Faith has been wanting us to talk about this for a while. And so I figured let's just finally shut her up and talk about it.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Different types of cigars. And I'm assuming you're meaning like what each wrapper brings to the table.
Right.
Okay. All right. Well, having been a tobacconist for 10, 11 years, something like
40
that.
years.
I'm gonna. How many?
What?
What?
Hmm?
You were so close, man. Anyway, so and Tony's got. How many years do you have in the business? 7 or 8.
Yeah, somewhere around there, man.
Okay.
Just a few.
So
years,
I'd like to hear your definition of what do you expect from. Throw out a rapper. No, not like Kanye or somebody. No. No, throw out a
Kanye.
rapper.
No.
Maduro. What do you like out of a Maduro? I'll tell you what I like, and what should the
out of a Maduro, I like a good, strong, hearty taste and flavor. But what I don't want is I don't want a bitterness.
Okay.
I don't want that aftertaste. I just want that good heartiness. But what I want is where I know that aging of the Maduro wrapper can provide the smoothness, but the smoothness, but with a subtlety, to where it's been aged well enough to where, like I said, the smoothness will just overtake everything. There's such a thing of getting a cigar to where it's just, it's just too much. Yeah. It's just too strong, and a lot of guys like that. There are some guys that like, I've been asked over the years, like when I've gone in the humidor with the customers and clients over the years, man, do you have anything that's going to knock me out, or get me buzzed or something? And I've always kind of, on one hand, I kind of like just really. I can't really relate to that. I understand what they're asking for.
Yeah. But that's going to come more from Nick than the rapper. Exactly.
And so, but I always tell them, well, I can give you something. I can recommend something that's going to kind of like help you ease back a little and kind of help you, relax. So, I'll take them to something a little stronger, in my opinion, and there are certain lines that I go to, but I always just expect smoothness and subtlety out of a Maduro wrapper.
All right. And what I like in a Maduro, and we'll keep them a little shorter so we can get to more wrappers. No offense, Tony. That was a very well thought out
question. You know me, man. I like to talk, man.
Yeah, we gotta stick a plunger in his mouth every now and then.
Hey.
But never mind. Okay. Think clear. Okay. Now with the Maduro, I like the smoothness of the Maduro wrapper. I like the dark chocolate sometimes you'll get from it. Not a real sweet chocolate, but like a baker's chocolate or a dark chocolate taste.
Okay.
And Jerry is letting us know that we only have a couple of minutes left, so we spent a lot of time on the guilty pleasures, but that's fine. So let's talk like Habano real quick. I like Habano. I think Habano's got a little spiciness to it that you don't get in a Maduro.
Okay.
There is a common misconception though about Maduros that Maduros are strong. Not necessarily. That goes into the binder and the wrap and the filler and stuff as to what makes a Maduro strong. It's not the wrapper itself that makes it that way. As you'll smell, that Connecticut I gave you earlier, that is not a smooth Connecticut. Not at all. It's going to be grab you by the throat Connecticut.
Cool.
So anyway, we'll readdress this topic in a future episode, but I like the topic. We'll think of some more. Maybe Tony will bring some, because he's got some different lines, and we can maybe show you some colors, what to look for as far as what the wrappers look
We
like.
are planning to, in future episodes, guys, we are planning to diagram some cigars, and I've got some cigar samples that we're going to actually kind of cut up, and we're going to actually show binder and filler. As the episodes progress, we do plan to get a little more tobacconist-like and show you the actual binder and filler. We're going to pull apart some cigars and show you the actual insides. So we do have plans to kind of get a little more cigar-esque for you guys out there that are kind of wanting a little more cigar
We're going to
knowledge.
keep the show the way it is. We'll just, when we talk cigars, we'll make it a little more targeted.
Exactly.
Because we have too many people that like the non-cigar portion of the podcast.
Yeah, we like to keep it fun for everybody.
Yeah, exactly. So anyway, go ahead, Vic.
So let us know if you guys have any questions on those topics around this area, and we'll be sure to touch on those.
Absolutely. So now you know what we're what we're talking about in the future. So help us out, and we'll address it. So anyway, this has been episode 14 with a recap of episode 13, and we are at the Calypso Cigar Shop and Lounge in Richardson. Come see us. If you do, I'll give you a 5% discount if you mention the podcast. 4:30 to 7 tomorrow, March 8th. La Hoja event here. Tony's got the event in Fort Worth. And we will see you all next week. For Tony Gomez, I'm Randy Rankin. And for the lovely Faith Cox, see you next time.
So, just smoke it, baby.